Do you put money before people? Let's talk about it. So I'm guessing you're here today because you've probably been accused, and probably more than once, that you put money before people. You're being accused of something that maybe you disagree with. So let's do a check-in. If that's true, and if it is, what you can do to start to change it today. Now, people who usually are accused of this are people who tend to give a lot. In fact, you probably contribute more financially than you do with either your partner, whether that's in life or in business. You might feel like you don't get acknowledged enough, and you might even have some resentment about how much you give and it not being properly matched by your other person. That can lead to feelings of resentment and anger. So what does a person who puts money before people, what does that even look like? Well, first of all, number one, these are people who are usually willing to allow a person's feelings to be hurt if it means that I'm going to gain in the long run. I'm going to either gain some form of more money, or I'm saving money, or I'm gaining some kind of power. Then for them, the cost is worth the benefit because feelings can heal, but money is something I can hold in my hand, whereas you can't hold a feeling in your hand. Number two, these same people have a willingness to sacrifice a relationship, whether it's a business partner, it's someone in their friend group, because they know that if I'm going to get a significant benefit or a significant reward, then it outweighs the loss of the relationship. And I'm okay with that. It's like that old adage, it's not personal, it's business. But in the case of personal relationships, like my partner, my adult children, my in-laws, my friends, my coworkers, it actually is personal. Number three, these people tend to struggle with injustice. They tend to be really competitive. They like to win. It's part of what's made them successful. It really frustrates when they see things are not equal, or they might be very tit for tat. And so typically they don't like to lose. They don't even like to be the one who doesn't get to have the last word. It can be a huge struggle to let go of all of these things in order to put the relationship before the money. Hence why when they've done these things, they're often accused of putting money before people. So why is this a problem? If I got more money, what's the problem? Well, the problem is the loss of relationships. There's a reason why we have that old archetype of the lonely Scrooge billionaire who's surrounded by his money and nothing else. The reality is, if any of us got cancer, it's not money that's going to drive us to the chemo clinic, and it's not money that's going to hold our hand when we're laying in the hospital bed. It's our people. You can't put a price on the value of a relationship. That means that sometimes you're going to have to choose the integrity of the relationship, even though it's going to cost you money. What that might look like is letting go of having the last word. It might mean you spend more and save less than you wanted to. It might mean that you don't get to win even though it's costing you more money. I know that sounds unheard of, but it's incredibly important, because when we choose the integrity of the relationship over the financial welfare, what we do is we're choosing love. And this is so profoundly important, because you don't want to end up like the archetype, and you don't want to be an old Scrooge. None of us do. But I even think of the book Small Fry. It was written by Steve Jobs' daughter, Lisa. And we all know, we've all been impacted by Apple products and their huge, incredible success on this planet. But in her book, she says that he was not generous with money, food, or words. And I'm assuming it's words of affection. So that the things that were probably the most important to the relationship are the things that she got least of. And here, his air, his legacy that he was kind of stingy, and he wants to be remembered that way. You can still repair things. Part of it was taking stock about what is the most important to you, and do you have a willingness to choose the people who you love in life? Can you make compromises with them instead of winning all the time and maybe winning half? And if you have the privilege and the gift of having more than others, and I get that you worked hard to have that, but the whole point of life is always been and always will be love, not money. So find a way to find a middle ground so that you can have